This episode is brought to you by diggingherroots.com. Digging Her Roots Boutique is a Black-owned, female-founded company that specializes in apparel for the culture. Their unique specialty pieces are collaborations with artisans from all over the world, and the Relatable podcast is giving you 15% off. Use our code RELATEPOD at the checkout for 15% off your order. That code is RELATEPOD for 15% off. Get the link and all the other information from this episode in the show notes.
Welcome to the Relatable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode, a sparkly new episode of the Relatable podcast. I'm Chantal. I'm here with your favorite Lucians, Sherween and Fiona. We have a very special episode. We have a wonderful guest. I am so hyped about this conversation. But before we introduce you to her, let me check in with Unu. Sherween, how you doing? How's your week been?
Hi, darling boy. This week has been hype.
Hey.
Hype. This week has been amazing. Lots of niceness. You know, last week's episode, we all met Ninja Dan.
Yes, we did.
And we're yep. You just caught me off guard with that one. It's okay, Daddy. Ninja Dan, and you all know I'm managing him. So last week we released 2 new songs, big tunes, and it's just been I've just been on a high. And then yesterday we were up north doing some work, and then on my way back down, I got told my dad is going to hospital. He is not well. So that high I was riding on, it just went.
Oh, Sherween, how's he doing?
And he's okay. He's in good spirits, but he's very weak and he needs blood. So any Lucians listening, if you're hearing, if you're in St. Lucia, or if you know somebody, ask them to go give blood to my dad, Nicholas Labadie. I'll put the information in the show.
Okay. What blood type, Sherween?
O positive, but any blood type, any donations, and what if somebody comes and it's not the same, they will give him the blood, but they have more in reserve. You understand? Or they get other blood. So it doesn't matter what your blood type is. They won't give him a type that's not his.
Well, I was a little bit confused. I'm like, but it does matter what type of blood.
No, they won't give him O negative or something.
Listen, Sherween, the way I was like, is this my perimenopause?
No, they'll
not
give him what he needs.
Okay.
They'll give him what he needs, the O positive. However, it's just they'll take it from the blood bank, but they constantly need.
Of course, right.
Blood.
Okay, now I'm understanding. Okay.
Just replacing. That's what it is.
Okay.
But yes, thank you. I just needed to put that out there. That'll make me very happy. Anybody who could help. But aside from that, Gassa, I'm good. Everything is good. Things happening with Fiona, myself. We're doing some big things, and I'm very confident and happy about them. So yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. All right. Yes. Fiona, how are you?
Well, greetings from sunny Saint Vincent.
Okay.
I'm not in the island, my dears.
Yes.
I'm foreign. But yeah, I'm in Saint Vincent. It's the first time being back in Saint Vincent in 20 years.
Wow.
And we went down for a family reunion to celebrate my father's 100th birthday.
So we went down
Lovely.
to the Grenadines, to Canawan, where
Mm-hmm.
my father is from. It's a small
Mm.
island, 3 miles long, I think 1.5 miles wide. And we scattered some of my father's ashes, and just it was just like a pilgrimage, to celebrate my father's life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm back on mainland Saint Vincent now.
Mm-hmm.
I had a ferry journey yesterday that fucked me all the way up.
What
When I tell
happened?
you that girl, the channel was rough. The
Oh.
channel was rough. That boat was flying in the air. It was horrendous. But apparently it's
Mm.
not always like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was great. It was great to go back. Kanawan is a very strange dynamic for me because my father grew up in a very like a one-room house,
Mm-hmm.
and Kanawan has different variants of,
Mm.
what could I say, of
Mm-hmm.
finance.
Right.
So you still find people who live in very small wooden houses, and then they have billionaires. So Kanawan is now the island where billionaires go to escape the millionaires.
Got you.
So
Wow. I mean,
oligarchs, yeah, oligarchs, mega yachts with helipads, that
mm,
kind of thing. And then you're hearing about all of these villas that these people have bought that are worth millions of dollars, pounds, whatever. And they may not come to it for the whole year,
wow.
but they pay people to come and clean it every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So it's just very like, why are you buying the thing if you're not even going? But that's billionaires, my girl. That's billionaires. So it was just very interesting to unlearn the dynamics of how much the island has changed.
I mean, yeah, Fiona. It's the what's the word I was looking for? Is it disparity? I don't even think that's the word I'm searching for right now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
the gap, the wealth gap.
it's the well. I mean, imagine billionaires are trying to get away from millionaires. Like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
is it that we're living in? No one should even be allowed to be a billionaire. It's just not necessary. Why do you need to be a billionaire?
So I can buy a villa and not go to it.
That's right. But exactly. I just think there should be a cap on how much people can
Excuse me, I want
own.
to be a trillionaire.
Oh, that is your ass. Um, that is
Girl
your
say
ass.
T, she want to outdo, should be well
Yes,
enough.
yes, I
Nah.
will be liming. I will be liming on Mars and to get away from the billionaires. What's
You
wrong
stay
with
right there.
you?
You stay up in Mars. Don't come, as Fiona would say. Don't come. You stay
Don't
up.
come.
What? You're only worth 125 billion? Excuse
Oh,
me. You
oh,
can't
I'm so
sit there.
sorry.
Such peasants.
Wow. Not peasants. I
Oh my God.
mean,
But
wow.
Shani,
Hey,
what about you, darling? How are you doing?
I am a strange combination of extreme exhaustion, physical, mental, and emotional, and just absolute heartful alignment with purpose. I'm in a strange place, y'all.
Oh my
I
gosh.
am exhausted. I can't even front. My One of my friends told me, stop saying that. Words have power. I'm like, girl, let me ask you how else I am supposed to convey this emotion, like how I'm feeling. I can say I am in need of rest. Yes, I can say that. But I am in need of rest, deep, sumptuous rest. Okay? But if I out on the road and somebody says, Shani girl, how you doing? I tired. Okay? Like I'm not thinking. I'm in need of deep, sumptuous rest so that I'm speaking it into no. I'm exhausted, but I'm also very grateful. The last few weeks have been very intense scheduling wise. There's a lot of growth going on for Island Girls Rock Nevis, St. Kitts Nevis. And I am in need of assembling a full core team in Nevis because I can no longer do this alone. I cannot. It is not feasible. It is very, it's, I It's a lot. It's a lot. And I am constantly exhausted. And I don't just mean physically, I am constantly exhausted. The last 2 days, we had a delegation of our girls and women attend and young women, the Island Youth Forum at the Global Sustainable Islands Summit, which was held in St. Kitts. And, from getting everyone registered to making sure that all the deliverables from the government side of things, so us having passes for the boats, making sure that there was transportation organized to take us from Reggae Beach to the Marriott where the summit was, like all of the things, actually participating in the workshops and all the things that were put together for the programming of the summit, making just everything. And it was intense. It was a lot. I have thoughts on the execution of the summit. I have thoughts. And what I loved about the summit was the opportunity for young people, not just to be heard, but to actually impact on policy making throughout the Caribbean with regards to sustainability and the environment and all of the things, right? Like actual policy making. Well, that was the intention. Whether or not that is going to happen is a whole other story, just based on the execution of the 2 days of the summit. I have encouraged any young people that I held space with at the summit to really utilize the feedback form, because it's very important that people who are hosting these events understand how they can improve and grow, right? And where they fell short. And there was a lot of falling short. I'm just going to leave a word here because I'm really keen to welcome our guest in, but neo-colonialism. Okay? We have
But we are the ones that keep the neo-colonialism going.
But we are not just the ones. We are complicit, but we are not just the ones, Fiona. Okay? There are colonialists, I don't even know what to call these people anymore, but anyway, who very much truly are not reading the room. They are not reading the global room. They're just not reading. It's like they have on blinders. And the missteps that occurred during these 2 days, the missteps were shocking. I know that it's a big summit. I have compassion for event organizers because you know how things can go wrong. Okay? But it wasn't just about the execution. It was about the content. It was about the content and the choice of facilitators, right? Because this was not organized by locals. This was organized by an international organization and supported by other international organizations who should know better. All right?
Okay, let us leave it there.
So we're going to leave it there.
Let us leave it there.
We're going to leave it there. All right? Because as I said, I'm excited about our guest. I'm excited about the conversation. We are going to be speaking about leadership with regards to Caribbean women. Our very special guest is Dr. Kerry Mitchell Brown, who strongly believes, and we agree, that Caribbean women are uniquely positioned to lead in the movement against the growing pushback of Black leadership globally, as organizations and governments attempt to dismantle initiatives and programs designed to address systemic racism and create access. Dr. Kerry redefines leadership by blending radical self-care, community care, and innovative strategies to create sustainable, inclusive environments where leaders and organizations thrive. Like everything. We are excited about everything that Dr. Kerry does. So without further ado, Dr. Kerry, welcome to Relatable.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you all today.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your background because, question, do you actually have any Caribbean heritage?
I do not have any
Right.
Caribbean heritage. I grew
Right.
up in the center of the United States in Omaha, Nebraska. I had
Wow.
very little exposure to Caribbean people growing up, but that all
Mm.
changed when I went to college. And I have not looked back. Some of my deepest relationships built on care and love or with some Caribbean women. And when I traveled from the Midwest to the East
Mhm.
Coast,
Mm.
uh, trying to figure out how am I going to make this work, I had some guides and I had some women who have been navigating different worlds, their entire life. And we
Yeah.
walked alongside each other together. And again, been some of my closest friends, co-conspirators in life and in work. And yeah, so that's been my world.
Mm. Okay.
Dr. Kerry, you know what happened? We have a saying in the Caribbean. You know what we do? We sweet you. We sweet you, Dr. Kerry.
Yeah.
It's okay. We
It's
understand.
okay.
You don't
It's
need
not
to
our fault.
explain.
We
We
sweet
know.
you.
Yes.
I love that. I really, really love that. Yeah, I remember that expression, Sherween. We sweet you. It's sweet you.
It's
Yes.
sweet you.
So, based on your experience in college and then moving from the Midwest to the East Coast, where the Caribbean diaspora thrives on the East Coast, well, at least from my experience in New York, why did you then decide to study Caribbean women?
I decided to study Black women, and
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean women are a part of Black women. So when we think
Mm,
about Black and we think about women, it doesn't just exist in the
right.
United States,
Love that.
right? And I mean, we are everywhere. And, when I would run into people, they would say, "Are there Black people in Nebraska?" Well, yes, Black people are everywhere. Women are from everywhere, as well. And when I wanted to learn and study about Black women and how we navigate and how we survive, I didn't want to study Black women in comparison to white women or in
Mm,
comparison to men. There's enough variation among Black women, so why not look at a
mm.
specific application for Black women and Black women only across the entire diaspora? And so that was my goal.
All right. And just reading your bio, the part about the growing pushback of Black leadership globally and the dismantling of programs such as DEI, how have you seen it rolling out? And in terms of how it's actually affecting Black women in leadership in the US?
Well, I mean, here's something that's happened in the US that
Mm-hmm.
I am sure that you all have had the opportunity to get some exposure to. The unemployment numbers for the month of April, 106,000 Black women.
Wow.
106,000 Black women
Wow.
in 30 days lost
Wow.
Wait,
their
what?
jobs.
What?
106,000 Black
That's
women
crazy.
Oh
in
my
the United States in 30 days. The unemployment numbers skyrocketed for Black women. 91% of women who are unemployed in this moment are Black women,
jeez.
right? So that's the impact. So we hear about the things that we should do. Get our education, right? Be sure to get your education so you can't get disqualified.
Hmm.
Be sure to get these jobs that are safe. Remember those
Mm-hmm.
government jobs that were safe
Yes.
government jobs that you can have for life? Well,
Mm-hmm.
since they are closing government offices. They're laying people off. They're pushing, those government jobs were susceptible to cuts. The government jobs were some of the hardest that were hit in
Mm.
the months of April and the months of March. Um, just in May, I'm sorry, in May, Microsoft had 6,000, layoffs. And so these numbers continue. You think about higher education, you think about the nonprofit sector. So for
Mm.
those folks in nonprofit who, again, and in education, those are jobs where there's a high concentration of Black women
Yeah.
across the diaspora, right? So, regardless of your immigration history, Black women are occupying those roles. And when grant funding is drying
Hmm.
up, those roles are eliminated. When those roles were put in place, when companies made the commitment around doing better in the future in 2020,
Mm.
right? We have promised that we're going to do better around racial justice. Black women were brought into, higher positions of visibility and, promotion. We got to make sure we're checking the box and doing what we say we were
Yeah.
going to do. And
Mm.
now that there is this anti-DE&I attack and retrenchment,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to those offices in colleges and universities that did important work around equity and inclusion? Those offices have been shuttered,
Mm.
right? Those
Yeah.
people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And yes, it's not just Black women, but we know if it's happening to Black women at this magnitude, that it is a ripple effect for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not just in Black women with the highest participation in employment rate from the beginning, because we were working even when it wasn't voluntary,
Mm.
right? Um,
Okay.
the highest participation rate with the
Yeah.
highest gap in salary when compared to others. So we have the pay inequity. And then we are the first to lose our jobs.
Mm.
Now, my research tells us
Mm-hmm.
that, and the numbers are still preliminary because the research study is still ongoing, but the early numbers do say a couple of things: that within their career since the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
women have experienced 19 months on average of unemployment.
Oh, come on.
19 months
19 months.
on
You know,
average.
you know something, Dr. Carey? It's like we're aware of these things, but you are bringing stats and numbers and percentages, and it's very sobering. It's not even funny. It's just
Do
sobering.
you have
Like
your tissue? Because I'm
this
about
is
to share
real.
something else with you that's
Oh,
just going to
Lord.
hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
19 months of unemployment on average. That's a long time, right? So
Yeah.
this just means if it's the average, there are some people who are way up there
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
that
Yep.
has to bring that average down to 19 months. Okay. And of the respondents to the survey to date, more than 80% of them
Mm-hmm.
contribute at least 75% to their household income. So
Ooh.
if
So what's
Oh,
I
happening to
am
them?
yeah.
unemployed for on average 19 months
Yeah.
and my household is counting on my salary, at least 75% of my household, what happens? What happens? But if I'm
Mm.
also taking care of my family, but my family also extends to what if I'm sending money back home,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. Yes.
What if I am, managing someone else's family and sponsorship and support and
Mm-hmm.
whatever? The ripple effects of that.
Yeah, and I'm
The ripple
so
effects of that.
happy.
And so, why shouldn't we be studying Black
Mm-hmm.
women for
Mm-hmm.
Black women, not in comparison to other people?
Right.
We
And I'm
need
so
our own.
happy that you raised that particular point, because I think sometimes actually living and being in the Caribbean, we often think that these decisions don't impact on us, right? But they do. And like you have just, you've given us a very clear example. you know, if the black woman who's leading the household is of Caribbean heritage and is tied to, where she's from, and has responsibilities where she's from, she's sending money back home, she's helping someone with their university fees, or,
School
their
fees,
sponsorship
school
for their green card,
uniforms.
like all
Yes.
these things, and she loses her job,
Her stable government job,
her
by the way.
stable government that you're going to work 35 years, whatever, how
Get a
many number of
pension.
years, get your
Mhm.
pension, that is taken away. Then what? Then what? The
Then
ripple
what?
effect has serious implications and impact. And I really want, what I want from us in the Caribbean is to understand how these decisions are also changing our lives, right? And where we need to start pivoting as a region and actually become less dependent and
Yep.
valuing our own. So, really think about, do I have to go to university in the UK or the US or Canada when our universities here in the Caribbean are top notch? Are you kidding me? Like, let's really rethink our decisions and where we are spending our money. Yeah, this is a sobering conversation.
Yeah.
It
I
When
think
is.
UE
the
comes
tax
in
on
the top 4
international student.
percentile of universities
Yeah.
in the
Thank you,
Americas.
Fiona. Thank
Yeah,
you.
in terms of top best 4 percentile in the whole of
Come
the
on now.
Americas. UE.
Come through. Come through with the stats. We need the stats. It's important.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we're continuing to highlight how amazing we are as Black women, we want to spotlight badass Caribbean women in leadership you should know for this week's Under the Mango Tree. I would like to shout out Met MG on Instagram. She is an amazing Guyanese chef who has been doing some wonderful, beautiful, nostalgic, and incredible work championing Caribbean food. She is also a cookbook author and has also been nominated for a James Beard Award. So big up you, Met MG.
For my person, my woman in leadership, I've chosen Kiflin Carew. Now, Kiflin is the CEO of Helen's Daughters, the founder and CEO of Helen's Daughters. And Helen's Daughters is a organization whereby she empowers lots of women farmers, not just here in St. Lucia, but in other islands across the Caribbean as well. I think she's in St. Kitts. However, Kiflin, what she's done is just remarkable. She has empowered lots of women to run sustainable businesses using the land they have at their disposal. She made them come together, and these women are thriving. Some of them producing so much that they're actually exporting. So if I were to big up anybody, it would be her for the amazing work she's done, having that vision, sticking to it, growing it. And now Helen's Daughters is like a household name, and it's growing all over the Caribbean. So big up you, Kiflin. I really love you, love what you're doing.
My Black Caribbean woman in leadership who I would like to lift up is Winielle Pereira. Winielle is an entrepreneur, wellness advocate, the founder of Girls Eliminated, which is a summer program. And the reason why I am lifting up Winielle, also, how could I forget her amazing luxury skincare brand, which she founded, Pure Niceness, the most amazing soaps and oils, nourishing, nurturing, gorgeous, handmade, using things from her garden. But what I love about the way that Winielle shows up as a leader is that she truly shows up as herself. She shows up with so much authenticity. And I know that in the small space that we live in, this beautiful Twin Island state, St. Kitts and Nevis, it can be that you are up against others that maybe don't understand your mindset, the way that you live your life, and can be very critical of that. And Winnie L just rises above it all and has not changed who she is and how she leads for anyone. And I love that about her. So that is my Caribbean woman in leadership that I have chosen for Under the Mango Tree. So Dr. Kerry, now that we have, a glimpse of some of the repercussions of the dismantling of these initiatives, what do we do? What is next for us as women in leadership? What are we doing? And especially, as you said, there are those that depend on grants for their organizations, for their nonprofits. And we know the granting world, the landscape has completely changed.
Absolutely.
Completely changed.
Yeah. I mean, there is a number of things that we can do. And there's a number of things that we have done.
Mhm.
Right. And so it's not, all doom and gloom. But
Thank
how
you.
can we be strategic,
Yes.
in this moment? And how do we leverage what we already know to be true? And so one of the things, so I think about maybe three things. So we can disrupt what I call the survival mandate, right? So from early on, I'm not sure if this is something that you've heard, but a number of Black women across all borders and boundaries say this. From childhood, we've been programmed with twice as good thinking. Like we have to do twice as good. We have to run twice. We got to be better, right? Like that's the survival mandate. But excellence alone doesn't shield us from inequity. And we got data to prove it, right? We have the highest attrition rates and the lowest promotion rates despite being the most educated demographic. So it's time to unlearn the idea that survival equals leadership, because it does not. Survival just means that I'm here, right? And leadership is about shaping futures, not just enduring hostile environments.
Wow.
I love that.
Right? And
Yeah.
so another point I would like to make is build strategic power communities and not trauma bonded ones.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
easy to fall into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can stop building community around pain, but build community around power, we will be some real badasses, not just in
Oh my
name, but in
God.
practice.
I have to write that down.
Yeah, we need to
We need to write that down. Okay, so
we
we have
need
to
that.
write, because that's gem. Stop
So
building communities around. Stop building trauma-bound communities.
yeah, so don't just network for comfort, network for collective transformation.
Yes. Collective transformation.
So we need revolutionary mentorship that fosters elevation, not extraction. And so when we share power instead of hoarding access,
Say that again. Say that again, Dr. Kerry. Say that again.
when we share power instead of hoarding access,
Yep.
Hey.
we multiply our impact beyond what we could even have imagined.
Come on. Yeah, we're quiet because we're letting it all
Just let it sink in.
sink in.
Just let
We're
it
letting
sink
it sink in, Dr. Kerry.
And while that sinks in, I'm going to give you another one, and then we can just hold them together.
Yes, please.
And the last one that I would offer is to lead with your full self as a strategic advantage and not something that you have to just sort of hide or cover up. Like It's a strategic advantage. So bring
Being
all of
you.
who you are to the
Mm.
table, not just your resume. Because guess what? They're gonna ask you to reduce it to 2 pages so it can fit on one page, or so you can do whatever. Like I
Mm.
have been in the workforce for over 30 years. Guess what? I
Mm.
can't get it all on one page.
No, you can't.
Right? So bring your full self as a strategic advantage. Bring your intuition, bring your mother's lessons, bring the knowledge
Mm.
stored in your body. You know how you say, well, I can feel it. There's something about this that don't feel right. There's something about this that feels funny and not in a good way. And people
Mm.
tell you this, no, just sit with it, just feel. No, no, no. I know what I feel, right? So your
Yes.
cultural wisdoms isn't something to code switch away from.
Oh, oh, oh,
It is
oh,
Oi!
analytical,
Oh,
We feel very
intelligent.
passionate about that,
oh,
about the whole.
Fiona. I was just
Yes,
gonna say, where is Fiona? Where is Miss
Fiona,
very,
where are
very
Compton?
you?
passionate
Fiona,
about
where
that.
are you?
No, very, very passionate about in terms of the whole code switching and how that cultural erasure that we're doing. So I'm very, very passionate about us being
Yes,
Yeah.
mindful about it.
So
yes.
it is analytical intelligence that these organizations desperately need.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the AI that we
Mm-hmm.
need, not the
Oh.
artificial, the analytical intelligence that organizations desperately need,
Mm.
because we're not a monolith.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if we continue going around acting like everything is the same, everybody's the same, everybody wants the same, no.
no,
Mm-hmm.
we're
It's
not.
market mechanisms for elimination.
Hmm. Listen, Dr.
And I'm a
Kerry,
pause.
I don't know if you subscribe to the universe aligning certain conversations or instances or
I do.
connections.
I do.
Because let me tell you something, the three women that you are holding space with right now, where we are in our own versions of leadership, what you are doing is you're actually pouring into us and affirming the things that I think we all have innately known. As you said, we've held it in our bodies, we've been practicing showing up with authenticity. I think Sherween, for me, is someone who completely embodies that. This is who I am, right? Fiona, with the cultural awareness and refusing to code switch, because why should we? Why should we? Right?
Why should we be the only ones?
Also that.
Exactly.
Also that.
Exactly. Why do
Hmm.
we feel the need to do
I
this?
don't. But yes,
Seriously.
seriously.
But that goes back to the beginning of the podcast, Chantal, when you talk about neocolonialism. It
Girl,
all comes back
Yes.
down
girl.
to that.
Listen, Dr. Kerry, Fiona, and Sherween, I think, like, I know what we're speaking about right now, but we need to all come back and have another conversation about that. Okay?
Hey,
Let's
Dr.
let's do
Kerry,
it. Let's do it.
Dr. Kerry, let me just read
Mm.
because it's like this morning I woke up and I was doing my meditation, and I'm going to read my what I was meditating about this
Hmm.
morning. Dismantling all the learned behaviors which has kept me back. That was my meditation.
Ah.
I kept and I said I am keeping myself behind because of
Mm.
the way I thought of myself, because of the imposter syndrome, because I felt I was not good enough, I was not speaking up for myself,
Mm.
me unconsciously feeding myself the narrative of not deserving. Okay. And
Mm.
that's through the disguise of the lens of believing someone else needs things more than me. So everything
Okay.
you're saying there, this morning I woke up and that was my meditation. I'm like, this enough is enough. I need to dismantle that. And now you're just coming to cement it for me. Like, what kind of alignment is this? I am so happy you came on. I am so, so
Mm.
happy. And we've just touched the surface, scratched the surface. We've not even gone deep into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're just getting started. It's so wild. We've been told that to be professional leaders, we need to leave it at the door.
Yes.
our dialects, our truth, our cultural wisdom. But here's the revolutionary insight. Our lived experience isn't crazy. It's analytical. We hold expertise in systems. We hold it in human behavior. We hold
Yep.
it in resilience. We hold it in strategy in our lives. We hold it in everything that we do. And when we get to these workplaces, it's as if it doesn't matter. Someone said that it didn't, but we know differently. We're not anomalies needing to fit in. We are the blueprints
Yeah.
for future leadership.
Wow. So, Dr. Kerry, we have these women and who have the potential to be like the most amazing leaders, but like Sherween just mentioned, the imposter syndrome, the self-doubting, the believing that you are not worthy. Like, what do I have to offer? How can people learn from me? Okay, maybe it's a twofold question. What do you feel makes a good leader? And how would someone who has the potential to being a really impactful leader, how do they unlock that? Like, how do they get through the blocks and the narratives, these subconscious self-doubting and so forth? How does one get through that to then tap into that activation where you really begin to step into that space?
Well, I can share with you what I use with my clients. And sometimes they're not clients in the client space, but anyone that I engage with in my consultancy and my coaching, either one-on-one or group, or just someone who has bumped into like a rough time and just wants some support on the other side. I have developed this evidence-based framework based on years and years and years of research with Black women around a growth mindset, right? And I call it the RISE framework. And there's 4 parts of this framework. The first part is RISE, RISE, redefine success, right? Oftentimes we think about success as what somebody else says it should be.
Right.
But we can redefine that for us.
Yep.
Right. And so success isn't just climbing their ladder, it's building entirely new structures. It's prioritizing impact over visibility and transformation over recognition. And we've done that all of our lives. Right?
Yes. Yes.
I is for innovate disruption. Change is going to come. Now we just gonna sit around and wait for it.
Innovate
Are we
disruption.
going to innovate our own disruption?
Disruption. Innovate our
Innovate your own disruption, right? Don't just
be comfortable.
Don't just sit around and wait for something to happen. Sometimes we can feel it in our gut. We can see the possibilities on its way. We're not here again to fit into broken frameworks. We are here to architect revolutionary ones. Did you hear me? We are here to architect revolutionary ones. Who said we can't build things?
Jeez, Amber.
Right. And S is for synergizing roles. I do 99 things. I try not to, but I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a sister, I am a friend, I do stuff in my community, and there's things that I don't do nothing. Right? But there's so many roles that I play, and I don't wear that as a badge of honor because some of these things I would like to give up so I can get some more rest.
Right? Listen.
We are leading in places that we just take the lead, because if not us, then who?
Right.
Yeah.
Integrate all parts of your identity as your leadership strengths, your motherhood, your cultural background, your community connections. These aren't obstacles to leadership, they're leadership innovations.
Mm-mm.
Right.
And then the last part of this RISE framework is evolve continuously. Grow without betraying yourself.
Oh my gosh. Where is the mic that we're dropping? Where, just, you
This
know.
whole podcast, this whole podcast is
Everybody make
you could make like
big
them
bombs
inspirational
dropping.
cards you draw one every day.
Just every
Yeah.
They
day.
already have
Every
365.
day. What? Oh
And
my
what I
goodness.
mean by that is evolution means becoming more authentically you. And we
Mhm.
Yeah.
all have to do the work to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not more acceptable to systems
Hmm.
that were never built for us.
Okay.
Not as an exercise to become zombies, but becoming better versions of ourselves.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
And I can guarantee you, that if you spent some time with this framework as it was intended, shoot, watch out now.
Oh, Dr. Kerry. I feel like Fiona said, like, this is just gonna be on this need everything you've shared, the gems that you're dropping. Do you have like a deck? Do you have affirmation cards?
Yes, or something,
Like something? What are we
something,
doing?
because we
What are
need
we
that
doing?
information. We want I want
Do.
like
I
I want
You
do.
the
You,
do?
to
You
yeah,
do?
I, yeah,
Did you
I
just say you
really
do?
do. In my cohorts and in my practice and in my work,
Okay.
I give them out. I give them out for people just to sort of sit with them. And when you have doubts, when you have that moment, when you
Mm-hmm.
bump up against that equation,
Mm-hmm.
that system that reminds us of those who are important and those who don't matter.
Mm,
And we sit in that part where we're like, oh, yeah, I'm in the don't matter part of this equation. You
mm,
hold on to one of those cards and you pull
Mm-hmm.
yourself up to the, yeah, I'm in the other
Wow.
part of this equation. I'm on the other part of
yes.
this continuum here
Hmm.
Mm,
because we're important. We're just not in the right system.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Definitely.
And sometimes creating a system, there's something else that my early research finding,
Mm-hmm.
and what it's signaling is that we already know we can't rely on these systems
Oh
outside of
yes.
us or outside of our control, because there are some Black women more than I looked at some numbers over the weekend. More than 50% of them have side hustles.
Oh
Have
yes.
Yes.
We are the side hustle queens.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
we are.
but not just a side hustle as a hobby, a side hustle to work on their exit strategy so they can create
Yes.
systems
Yep.
Yep.
of their own.
Yeah. Boy.
And so it's not always redefining someone else's system, it's creating a
Building
system
your own.
so that you
Mm.
can show and demonstrate and create new lived experiences for
Mm-hmm.
others on the full promise of
Mm.
leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
leadership is not always at the highest level within the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's
Yes.
just sort of leading, where you are.
Yes.
There was a period in my life I didn't want the highest level. I just wanted to breastfeed my babies in
Thank you
peace.
very much. Okay. Thank you
Exactly.
very much. And that's
Exactly.
the thing. It's when sometimes my experience, my personal experience has been, and I very reluctantly take the identification of being a leader. I'm very reluctant. I have been very reluctant through the years. I have always been reluctant. And I think for me, the reason has been I find that there are those when I used to work for other people and build other people's dreams, I I I find I find that I am presented as a threat because people have a perception of what my goals are at their company without actually ever having a conversation with me,
Yep.
right? So I
Right.
have no desire to be the CEO of other people's businesses and other people's companies. That has never been my thing. I want to be the CEO of my own, right? And
Right.
so I've found that there are people in positions, women, black women, who see you and perceive you as a threat for wanting something that you don't actually want.
Right.
Like, I don't actually want to be the head of no other board but my own.
Right.
Okay, I may be qualified and you may see me doing things and impacting and all these things, but I don't
Yep.
actually want that.
Yeah.
I have an exit plan. I've always had an exit plan when
Yeah.
building other people's dreams because for
Yeah.
me, there is an expiration date on that,
Yeah. Always.
And
right?
that there is the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly.
Because you have an exit plan. And if you have an exit plan, it means you can't be here making me money,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? Instead of um, being in dialogue around how do we have mutual
Yes.
benefit?
Yes.
How do we have mutual benefit and just have clarity around, like, if I had a conversation with a leader about what their true goals and aspirations were and be in alignment with them and support them through that. And then I know that they were fully committed for being here, doing whatever that they can do during that time. And I'm supporting them and helping them to get all the skills and resources and the things that they need so they were ready for their next pivot. And then
Mm-hmm.
we become a site for learning about fair treatment and equity to attract more people who look like the person that is moving on to do some amazing things. Like, don't get me started. I mean,
Yeah.
just the short-sightedness of that. But what happens is you take all of your organizational capital, organizational knowledge, your relationships, all the people that you were mentoring who were looking up to you, who were working
Mm.
alongside you, and you're out the door. I call
Mm.
that the misalignment tax. And
Right.
so it doesn't show up on the balance sheet. It doesn't show up on the balance sheet, but it has huge, huge
Yep.
impact to the bottom
Yes.
line, and it's not positive. But
Boy.
when you don't create the space for people to truly belong, when orgs don't do that, then they get what they get because organizations are perfectly
Um,
designed to get what they get.
Yep.
yeah. Yep. Hmm.
Yep. They do.
Boy.
And that's why I decided a very long time ago, I'm not bringing any work home. You give
Yes.
me 8 hours
Mhm.
you pay me for,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm done. Out after that, I am done.
Yeah.
And that was very hard in the beginning because being the type that would always want to go on above. And I realized, what are you doing that for?
Mm.
What are you doing that for, Sherween? Your thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry to think like that because
Mm-hmm.
my work ethic is very high. However, when you realize that you're just there working a system that don't really care about you,
Mm.
I said, nah, man, my blood, sweat, and tears is for my own thing. Like
Yeah.
you
That's
said,
right. That's
Chantal.
right.
It's for my
Yeah.
own thing. It's for my
Yeah.
own, what I want to do for myself. Like you said, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be the CEO of my company, not
Mm-hmm.
yours.
And we have to normalize that. We have to
Yes,
normalize that it's
it,
okay not to
yes,
give your everything to
yes,
a company, that
yeah,
you
it,
can give to your company what you are supposed to give to your company to meet your obligation for
yes,
your paycheck, and the energy and the joy and the that you have left, you can pour it into something else, or you'll get a greater
Yes.
return on your investment.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it felt so good. It
I
felt
know
so
it did.
good turning down a senior leadership role. It felt
Yes.
good.
I
It
know.
felt good telling them, you know what? Nah, the money is good. Thank you. How much do you want, Sherween? Well, my friend, it's not how much I want. You cannot give me what I want. I don't want
Mm.
it.
Mm.
You know, I
Don't
remember
want it.
a time in my career when I had a very direct conversation with um, leaders around the same scenario. And it wasn't how much they would pay me, it was how much it would cost me
Yes.
to take that
Yes.
opportunity.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
And
You
we
see,
have to factor that, we have to factor my cost,
yes.
which sometimes
Your loss
can't
of
be
social life,
compensated. Yes,
your
my
loss
cost.
of time with your kids,
Yes.
your loss of all these amazing experiences you'll never get again. Your family
Insanity.
developing
How
the
about
kind of,
sanity?
Mm.
you understand, you cannot do it because you're so hooked onto that job and you have to get that done. And then you drop dead and the
Yeah,
job is still going.
right. Mm, mm.
Make it make sense.
I can't sell you the fraud, and I can't force you.
That part.
They did a good job. They did a good job.
That part. Man, Dr. Kerry, we could actually have a
We could go
2 hour
on and on
episode
and
with
on.
you. We could actually have a 2 hour episode with you,
Listen, I
right?
am there thinking, I need a cup of tea. I need a cup
Yo,
of tea. This
like,
is hot.
I'm like, where do I book an appointment? How do I how do I get Dr. Kerry to mentor me, please?
Yes.
And actually, Dr. Kerry, speaking of which, we're seeing like a huge growth in mentorship programs,
Yes.
and across generations, which I love,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
What for you defines a really good mentor? What do you see the role of a mentor being? And who's a good mentor? Because I also see, sometimes there can be a bit of jumping on the bandwagon, like, oh, you're offering a mentorship program, we're going to do one too, and we just need women who, as you said, the general definition of success, these are the women we're going to approach. When I don't feel that, I feel that that is too small a qualifier, basing mentors on their outward accomplishments, right? And their perceived success, career wise. So what do you feel makes a really good mentor?
Oh my goodness. Do we have another hour?
You're gonna have
But
to come back. It's really
No.
that simple. You're gonna have to
but
come back.
but
Okay.
I think yeah, I'll try to answer it though really quick, because like you said, they're all over the place. But what I would say is mentorship as revolutionary act is really redefining the role, because the traditional mentor model is broken.
Okay.
Did you hear me? It's broken
Broken.
because
It broke up.
most mentorship is still built on that old climb the ladder and pull someone up
Yeah.
model. But what if the ladder itself is the problem?
Yes. So bringing us back to that, Dr. Kerry. Yes. Yes.
For those ladders that weren't
Mm.
built for our bodies, our brilliance, our values, we need mentors who help us to architect entirely new structures, not just climb broken ones more efficiently.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And so I would say, I mean, just in line with this conversation, what makes a good revolutionary mentor, I look for like 4 or 5 things.
Okay.
Cultural fluency and strategic brilliance. So someone who gets the nuances of navigating as a Black woman and has strategic mind to help you transform those navigation skills into leadership advantages.
Right.
Doctor, you said something. You said cultural fluency. I like that.
Yes, yes, cultural
I
fluency.
really, really, really like that.
That's a
I'm
Fiona. You
definitely
remember when we were looking for therapists?
Yeah,
yes.
Yep, that was very
yeah.
important.
And I would say also someone who's embodied integration and not compartmentalization.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Yeah.
So they don't ask you to leave it at the door. They help you to bring your full self in. As you remember that AI I talked about, analytical intelligence,
Analytical intelligence.
to every
Yes.
professional space.
Yes.
There's also a community minded power building piece. So they share access instead of hoarding it, right? They believe that power is multiplied, is power maximized,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So not just two people have it, or that they have it and they want you to do like 19, 11 million times things in order for them to introduce you to somebody that you already got a relationship because somebody else already introduced you to them, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, like, who has a revolutionary track record? So, looking for evidence that they actually transformed the system, not just like sitting in
Yeah.
them, repeating the same old practices
Yeah.
that kills your spirit.
Yes.
I think someone said over here that it was hurtful, like by somebody else, like your own somebody who looks like you, that just does the same sort of stuff. Have they changed cultures? Have they redesigned processes? Have they challenged the status quo? Or are they
Yes.
just there to tell you, you play by these rules here if you want to succeed? Yes, you want to survive, you want to succeed, but you want to thrive too. And
Yes.
then if there is someone you need a mentor who really, really cares, radical self-care as a leadership model, that they
Thank you.
demonstrate that there are boundaries and that there are strategies, and rest is resistance, right? And that sustainable excellence beats burnout like every time. If they can't have a conversation with you without, let me do an email, or I have to cancel because I need to be at this meeting, and I told you we need more time for this.
I
But
want you
those are
to
the things that
I
come up for me.
I want you to pause on something that you said. You mentioned radical self-care, and I, I don't want to assume that all of our listeners
Oh
truly
yes.
understand what that looks like. So, can we just dive just a little bit deeper into radical self-care before we very reluctantly wrap up this conversation with you? Okay? Like,
Can
very
we do like a
reluctantly.
Yes.
1 week seminar? Just like a
Yo,
whole week.
my
Yes.
brain is already ticking and whirring, Fiona.
Serious.
You know this. You know
Yes.
this.
Serious.
So
Serious.
I always say this radical self-care that I am talking about. Let's be clear. It is not bubble baths and face masks.
Thank you very much.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Radical self-care isn't about luxury. It's about longevity.
Mm,
It's about disrupting the expectations that Black women should sacrifice everything for legitimacy.
Boy.
but
Hey, that's a whole. Hey, say that
but
again, please.
Boy.
Say that again.
please,
Give
Dr.
me one
Kerry,
more
say it
time.
again. I beg.
Yes. Let me see if I can say it. Radical self-care isn't about luxury. It's about longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's about disrupting that expectation that Black women should sacrifice everything for legitimacy. And I mean everything.
And that's not even just for work.
It's
That's for
everything.
relationships. That's for
That's
friendships.
Across the
That's
board.
for
that's
everything.
everything.
Everything. Oh my word. Dr. Kerry.
Chantal, Fiona, I need us to bring some joy in the place because
Dr. Kerry.
the realization, it is anyway. We
we
need to
say
bring it
this,
back. We need to somehow come
but
up with
we
something.
say that to guests, and we genuinely mean it, that we would
Yes,
love to have them back.
yes,
But I
yes,
think this
yes,
conversation is so important, especially right now with
yes,
everything that Black women are being faced with and have
yes,
been faced with through
yes.
time, but right now. And we need to figure out when we can have you back and how we can expand on this first conversation and perhaps pivot it
Guys,
into
yeah,
some kind of,
something.
we gonna do something together, because what you're saying is, it surpasses importance, it is vital,
Yes.
right?
Like I tell the women that I work with, call me first, call me often.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Kerry. I'm sure you can tell that all three of us have absolutely loved being in conversation with you. And you have brought us a lot of joy today, and a lot for me. I actually want to cancel all my other meetings for today and just be in silence and solitude
To
and
take it in.
download and
Yes,
just
yep,
download all of this shared information. I
yep,
just don't
yep.
feel like I have space for anyone else today. I really don't. Sorry. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay, listeners. Well, I mean, after taking all of this in, we now have to let me come out of the downloading and processing and things and
And the
find out
revolutions.
and speak about what brings us joy this week. So, what we're going to do, Dr. Kerry, you will be invited to tell us about what has been bringing you joy. It could be this week, last month, but what are you working on or have been doing that is bringing you joy?
Yes, so I am currently conducting research, and every time I get a response from a Black woman from across the world, that brings me joy because it's adding voice to the evidence for us. Because joy is not frivolous, it is strategic, it's not
Yes.
selfish, it's revolutionary. And I am creating a blueprint for Black women, and I'm very, very excited about that. And another
Nice.
part of my joy is my twins. They're 7 years old, and our summer starts on Thursday. And I am
Yay!
really, really excited about spending our summer together because we had a busy, busy school year. And that brings me joy as a radical mama starting the summer.
Yay.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I remember those times having
Yeah.
kids about to go off and you're planning what we're gonna do. We're gonna go here, we're gonna do this. That's nice. That's a really nice. Oh, miss that. I'm happy to hear that, Dr. Kerry. Shani, what's been bringing you joy?
Okay, so outside of this episode,
Yes.
what I realize that it brings me so much joy, and I only fully had an aha moment just a few days ago while I was in St. Kitts for this summit, is the constant sound of the bird song in Nevis, like from morning through to night, just the many variations of birds and the way that they communicate with one another. The bird song in Nevis, the what's the word?
Symphony.
Symphony,
Symphony.
the symphony of birds and their beautiful sounds and singing. That's what's bringing me joy.
Wow. Nice
Yeah,
one.
man.
Fee, what's bringing you joy?
Coming off of that ferry. Okay. Never, ever again. Y'all have that.
What? It was that bad. Fine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Okay.
that your boat ride
So,
was that bad. So,
That's both right.
Sherween, share with us what has been bringing you joy lately.
Um, like I said, a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing the music I worked on with this man, or just worked with him to
Mm-hmm.
help produce and to make and to hearing it everywhere now. It's bringing me a lot of joy. You know, we're going
Mm-hmm.
all over the place. We're in the studios promoting. It's nice, Gasa. I am enjoying that. That's bringing me a lot of joy. Yeah, that's it. That's what's bringing me joy this week.
I
That's what's
love that.
keeping me excited. I'm excited to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning
Oh,
to
wow.
be on the road from 6 o'clock, go around the island, do this, do that. It's just interesting. A
Okay.
lot happening.
I'm really happy that your work with Ninja Dan is bringing you so much joy. It's
Yes,
beautiful. It
yes.
is.
Thanks, darling. Thank you.
Oh.
It is.
So, Dr. Kerry, we, as I said, very reluctantly have to say goodbye to you. But before we do that, can you let our listeners know where they can find you, your offerings, how they can sign up? That would be really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. You can go to my website, Kerry, Kerry, mitchellbrown.com. Subscribe to my newsletter where I have a lot of offers for webinars, for consultations, booking, 30-minute consultations for
Mhm.
free. Um,
Wow.
and you can also find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Kerry Mitchell Brown. And on all social media, my handle is at Dr. Kerry M. Brown. So you can find me, not hard to find. And
Mhm.
jump on calendar and book a consultation, and let's have a call, and I can see how I might be able to support you being your full self as an amazing Black woman leader.
Yes, we love that. A
I hope
30-minute
you're
free
heard.
consultation. That's
Yes, that's what
amazing.
I was about to say. I hope they heard there's a
Yeah.
30-minute free consultation. Please, 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 listeners, take advantage. If y'all could feel what we're feeling right now, I know I will be visiting you soon.
Can you imagine getting even more from what you got at in the podcast today?
Yeah,
Exactly, Fee.
Like,
Wait, what? Because I'm
there's
yeah,
more.
serious. I am
There's more.
canceling
Wait,
everything
there's
today.
more.
There's more, right? I
There
love
is
that.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know I will have all the information in the show notes.
Yes.
So make sure to spend a few minutes reading the show notes and getting all the links to Dr. Kerry
Yeah.
and accessing that 33 minute consultation.
What were you,
So yeah,
33?
let's do
33?
this.
Oh, 30
30
free.
minutes,
Because I was
30
like,
minutes
what?
free.
Oh gosh, as usual, thank you to our listeners for always tuning in, for sharing these experiences with us, and for giving us your time. We really appreciate and value you so, 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 so much.
I want to say thank you for um cementing my meditation this morning with that beautiful synchronicity with it's just yes girl, you're on the right track, so thank you.
So, Dr. Kerry, thank you so, so much. We're saying goodbye. And always remember a shared journey.
Brings
Oh
home.
my, Sherween!
I have been practicing.
Wait a minute!
I have been practicing.
Sounding amazing. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.